Namo Vishnu Badaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachari Shatarine. What follows is a summary of Sri Krishna's Vrindavan Lila by Srila Rupa Goswami. Translation by Sriman Krsna Das. Narration and poetry by Dravida dasa. First is an introductory verse by Srila Jiva Goswami. Kavyam sudha ruchiharam vivudape bando yasyanya kavyamati tiktadvarut sajanti rupasananda sutta rupa gunano rupa shastam prashastam asakrin mama nirmamita. Srila Rupa Goswami has very accurately described the form and qualities of Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. The beauty of Rupa Goswami's poems defeats the taste of nectar. Thus learned devotees who are accustomed to drinking the nectar of Rupa Goswami's poems reject the poems of others, considering them very bitter. May the poetry of Rupa Goswami grant super excellent good fortune to us at every moment. Jiyannama marare prema marandasya navyamaravindam bhavadiyada bhasopi svachidalam mukti muktaya. All glories to the holy name of Krishna, Mura's foe. That name's a blooming lotus with ambrosia overflowing, the soothing balm of love of God, which cures all pain and woe. Just a dim reflection of that name, even slightly glowing, is like a drop of purest rain that falls within an oyster shell and brings about the pearl of liberation from this earthly hell. Nandotsavadayastha kansavadhanda hare mahalila chando bhi lalitangar ashtarsh bhi narupyante. The Supreme Lord Hari's magnificent pastimes are told in these 44 beautiful stanzas. At first we hear of a gala, King Nanda's. At last of a wonderful death, King Kansa's. Dhanuja chunika dambo damada vagnirashi kusumita davikanya tiravanya karindra Madakala Pashupali Lochanindi Varindo Bhavatu Tavacharitang Mangara Mandanaya. The legions of demons are like a great tangle of weeds, grass and brambles, a frightening field. But you, O Lord Krishna, do o'er this field sprangle, a fierce forest fire that makes them all yield. The groves by the bank of the Yamuna river are full of fresh flowers, both fragrant and fair. And you, O dear Krishna, O ecstasy giver, are the king of the elephants who's sporting there. The gopis are maddened with youthful emotion, their minds filled with love, you they long to embrace. Their eyes, like blue lotuses dripping devotion, bloom wide when they see the bright moon of your face. O Krishna, O giver of all wit and power, O Damodar, you who determine my fate, please grant this request, O kind blessing endower. May your pastimes my halting words e'er decorate. Mulot Kaptavadahini Bhavatado Krishnanya Trishnakshaya Kilan Bhimuni Chakravaka Nichaya Rapcham Yamanamuhu Gananandika Lasvana Bahatumi Jivatati Prangane Gunatunga Savalista Vakata Piyusha Kallolani. Words that tell of your glorious deeds are a river of nectar, O Lord of my heart. And from those who drink deep at that river, desires for other words quickly depart. Sages they are, Chakravaka birds playing, those who drink at the river of talks about you. Uprooting the huge tree of death and rebirth, that river their faith ever freshens anew. Waves churn that river, exchanges of love as you sport with your dear ones, your pure devotees, bubbling and rippling and murmuring sweetly. That stream delights all with divine melodies. O Krishna, O fount of sweet nectarous pastimes, O you whose great deeds should be heard and then sung, may the river of poetry limning your glories flow into my heart and then over my tongue. Nijamahanamandali vrajavasati rochanam vadana vidumadhuri ramadapitalochanam shrutinapnabhusara vajaviheda jatakam tonajalada tarpita swajanagana Subahubadadanakrid janakakutakautukam Nikalapasupavali samapaditiyautukam Janisamayamandati kritapurusayoshitam Vajanirvasa gorasa chapana janatoshitam Bahuladari pungali kritabilasadanganam Pramadabala lolita prakatanatanganam Janakapaditoshita spudadakalaballavam Vajajananda padmaja vibhavapadapallavam Kapatapataputana katanayana vikshitam Vajabayada durjana vajanadana dikshitam Vishimabakapuvaja kutasavadashahinam Tadasupadimishritas tadadasapahinam Tadadutada vimrahan dumanamahapatanam Pitakadapalakshasi vipadababashatanam. With his glory, Sri Krishna pleased the inhabitants of Braja and made the abode of Vrindavan appear very beautiful. And he delighted the eyes of his parents with the sweet beauty of his moon-like face. The learned Brahmins performed his birth ceremony, and with the rain cloud of his beautiful form, he pleased the Chataka birds of his relatives. Giving many different kinds of charity, Krishna's father Nanda performed a festival, and all the cowherd men and gopis brought gifts for the child. For Krishna's birth celebration, the cowherd men and women decorated themselves very nicely, and during the festivities they jubilantly threw milk, yogurt, and a mixture of turmeric and water on one another, so much so that the effulgent courtyards of Braja, which were decorated with jewels, became full of yogurt up to the knees. Then, moving to and fro, the gopis danced with great delight in the public places. Jubilant at the birth of his son, Nanda Maharaj gave many valuable garments and ornaments as gifts to all the cowherd men and women, who shone with great pleasure. It appeared that the great opulence of the lotus-like goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, had blossomed forth in Braja. With harsh eyes, deceitful Putana looked at Krishna, who has vowed to destroy all demons who frighten the Brijvasis. When that dangerous witch, the older sister of Baka, placed her poison-covered breast near the sleeping infant, he sucked out her life along with her milk. As she died, Putana assumed a gigantic form and knocked down many trees. Thus Krishna liberated the demoness, who was the enemy of children, from material entanglement. The cowherd men's wives, who were very learned in the scriptures, performed rituals for Krishna's protection, and purified him by covering his auspicious limbs with cow dung and the dust upraised by the cows. Krishna, the son of Braja's king, is the sandalwood paste anointing the gopis' hearts. O fickle mind, please worship him. Tava jayati nanda nanda napadara vindora bhakti makaranda jayan maradi lavagri mukti sukham shukti tamiti. O son of King Nanda, all glories to the nectar of intense devotional service to your lotus feet. When one drinks even a tiny drop of that gloriously sweet nectar, the happiness of liberation seems as insignificant as an oyster. Mama matadachala chadane bhagavati payanki kasayate kapatak kandata kushale shakatapagattade paraspuratu. As infant Krishna lay in a bed underneath a handcart, he expertly pretended to cry and then kicked the cart and broke it to pieces. May my mind become fixed on the Supreme Lord performing this pastime. Altanika Mahasankulitambuka Shakadarastana Shayanalambaka Kuchidasa Trishna Vidichitarodana Chantala Patakata Shakadavinodana Vismita Bashbasudugamichechita Katidana Jehita Shavika Vestita Kata Janaki Janaki Katantaka Mantaka Danani Sudakata Shantaka Janani Duvahagora Vingaha Sapadivaditsa Danadabaningaha Danatani Nachana Pavahita Kantatiga Hani Matatahata Viklava Janani Neva the Shocha Dividadan Gopi Kodapadi Lochita Nema the Janani Banda Mahodaya Mama Vigokala Mangala Modaya Mama Vigokala Mangala Modaya Navishuli Lalangita Hai Nagaga Vishkata Namana Sai Ringana Mandata Nindana Ketana Mandanimata Gokala Chetana Chalatata Tarnaka Puttivakashana Vismita Gihikate Ramani Hashina Kutukin Nasamaya Vatseva Mochana Chauya Vashankata Chantada Lochana Akroshana Kata Hasidadam Manamukapata Vikatulunchana Sambada Chatolu Kalapishta Virajana Randita Shikastida Vadabhajana Gavyane Metakapakula Randana Kalpata Navadadi Handi Bhanjana Danani Vikshata Sabaya Velochana Jaya Jaya Kokula Padma Verochana Jaya Jaya Kokula Padma Verochana Rama Pukati Kutamil Bokshana Janani Samantatukabaya Lakshana Mukupata Dashata Nakalacharacha the Gopi Sata Sutamai Munamacha the Gopi Sata Sutamai Munamacha the Gopi Sata Sutamai Munamacha. Oh Krishna, when Mother Yashoda was absorbed in the Uttana ceremony, she placed you in a bed beneath a handcart. Desiring to drink her breast milk, you cried and kicked the cart with your moving feet, breaking it to pieces. The Gopas and Gopis couldn't believe that infant Krishna could have done such an amazing thing as broken the cart, although the nearby children all claimed that Krishna had indeed done it. Thinking some bad planet had attacked Krishna, Yashoda and Nanda anxiously came to the spot and arranged for the expert Brahmins to perform an auspicious ceremony to counteract the planet's evil influence. O Krishna, one day you made yourself as heavy as a mountain, and Mother Yashoda found it impossible to hold you, so she had to put you down. The demon Trinavarta, intending to kill you, at once carried you away, but then you tightly gripped his neck and killed him. Mother Yashoda became alarmed when she couldn't see you, and she lamented violently. But then the weeping gopis saw you, unhurt, playing on the chest of the demon's corpse. Mother Yashoda and all her friends then considered themselves very fortunate. O Krishna, O auspiciousness of Gokula, please delight me with your pastimes. When a year of your childhood pastimes had gone by, Gargamuni came from Mathura and revealed your transcendental names, which are all full of nectar. You decorated Nanda's house with your crawling and pleased the Brijvasis with your charming sweetness. O Krishna, sometimes you would grab hold of the tail of a moving calf and be dragged about by him. Seeing this, the lovely housewives of Braja would become enchanted and forget all their household duties. Delighted, they would laugh to see the sight. When you saw the calves' affection for the cows, you became curious and released the calves at the wrong time, just before milking, and they drank up all their mother's milk. Your naughty pastimes of stealing butter and yogurt caused you to move your eyes restlessly in feigned fear of being caught. When the gopis would call out to you, "Why are you making all this mischief?" you would simply laugh and say, "I am the crest jewel of all the sages, and you are nevertheless calling me a thief?" With the gestures of your charming face, you are expert at concealing your activities of stealing. Standing atop an overturned grinding mortar and beautifying it, you poked holes in the superbly crafted jars of butter and yogurt hanging from the ceiling by ropes. Then you pleased the monkeys by distributing the milk products to them, and when they refused to eat any more, you broke the clay pots full of fresh yogurt. Mother Yashoda then saw your eyes, which were full of feigned fear because of your having done so much mischief. O Krishna, O sun that causes the lotus of Gokula to blossom, all glories to you. When Balaram said you had eaten clay, Mother Yashoda had you brought into her presence. You were trembling and your eyes were full of fear. When she looked into your mouth to see if you had actually eaten clay, you showed her the entire universe with all its moving and unmoving entities. O son of Nanda, please delight me with your Lila. Griham sakikaralike pavishati smani lakshishu Didi kudukavatikam tadihadam dadham yudhuram Iti pakatamirite mukadaya mahashankatam Velokitanu kankati katatamahari patuva. One day Mukara, Radharani's grandmother, said, "O Kerala, that bold blue boy, Krishna, the yogurt thief, has entered the house. Please lock the door and I will catch him." Seeing their great eagerness to apprehend him, Krishna hid himself, making a dark corner of the house his sanctuary. Then, unperceived by the two ladies, he laughed and ate the fresh butter. May that Lord Sri Krishna protect you. Indranila madarappavang janam hasayanthamanasak prabhanjanam bibbatam purata pingalampatam dehi chitta navanita lampatam. Child Krishna's effulgence is as pleasing as that of sapphires. He makes his devotees smile with his charming pastimes, such as breaking the handcart to pieces. Dressed in beautiful golden garments, he is very eager to steal some butter. O mind, please meditate upon Sri Krishna. Jatadadi mandana danda janani chumbata ganda pita savitti dugna kalabashita kalamunda janani payasatipta bhajana bandana jitta katahayangava mosha matava niyamita rosha janiyatri katadava munikanandola bhava vidadata vitri pila padadita davana lila titahayangava ganda kalatolu kalabanda jistajana danamula sudamune vaganukula katayamalajana banga guya kanatita ranga dirabhakti katayaksha madhava mama viraksha vismata ballavadishta susmata mukapatarishta nandava mochata bandha jaya jaya mangala kanda jaya jaya mangala kanda. O Krishna, wanting to drink the breast milk of Mother Yashoda, you caught hold of the rod she was using to churn yogurt, and she responded by kissing you on the cheek. As you drank her milk, you appeared very charming, speaking the soft and inarticulate words of a baby. When you were not satisfied by the milk of Mother Yashoda, you arrogantly broke the pots containing yogurt and other milk products, stole the butter, and in this way angered your mother. O Krishna, you fled in fear from your angry mother, who chased you. Although even great sages find it difficult to capture you, when you understood that your mother was tired from the chase, you let her catch you. Sweetly scented with the aroma of fresh butter, you let Mother Yashoda bind you to a wooden mortar. Then you saw the two Arjun trees and felt inclined to fulfill the promise of Narada, the sage among the demigods. When you uprooted the Yamalarjun trees, the two sons of Kuvera, freed from Narada's cursed blessing, emerged. They were now your devotees, and they pleased you by offering your prayers. O Madhava, please also protect me. When the cowherd men heard the loud sound of the Arjun trees falling, they hurried to the spot and became amazed at what they saw. When Nanda saw you jubilantly and sweetly smiling, he released you from your bonds. O Krishna, all glories to you, who appear like an auspicious cloud in Braja. Vrihad vipna mandane kalasha mandali khandane vrajapaniya shansane danaja vridni vidvangshane muhodana rochane mahadaballavi lochane bhadaspadatu kaishave ratadativa nakshaishave. Sri Krishna, whose hair is beautiful, decorates the great forest of Vrindavan, destroys the sinful, draws affectionate praise from the Brijvasis, checks the demons, pleases the entire earth, and delights the eyes of the gopis. May we feel great love for that playful child at every moment. Kada vrindaranye mihidadu hitu songa mohite mohom brahman brahman chaditalahadingo kolapate lapanuchar uchar nainapayasam vena bidaham kadeshi sotkandho nibudamavasekam vitapina. The forests of Vrindavan are glorified by the Yamuna river which flows within it. When will I wander in those forests, loudly recounting the pastimes of Krishna, the Lord of Gokula? When, agitated by the anxiety of love for him, will I profusely sprinkle the trees there with the tears streaming from my eyes? Pajendra upanandantani madinori manogetada vrindavananta dadamori anakstadana yatra nijankamupanita koranganayanabi saharshmanugita papullapita vrindavano baditadanga kalinda gidiputri tatantadita sanga kirinda katakangi katora padiposha samasta sakiraji valasamani kosha Samipo vivatsa pachadaditarsha suritsu guru kela barina kataharsha tarangadudu gendu pavishcha chaladrishti panita vadavamshi nanadana srishti Darakshanaka lakshmi padita midukanda katira tatakuda nvachitta laguganda samura shikichuda panita vadachuda sumanja tadagunja valiva dupagudha. After Nanda Maharaj inquired from his advisor Upananda, the latter expressed his opinion that Vrindavan is very beautiful and pleasing, and that the cowherd community should move there. The cowherd men all accepted his proposal, and Mother Yashoda, seated on a cart, placed Krishna on her lap. With great joy, Krishna sang along with the doe-eyed gopis. Sri Krishna became delighted when he entered the broad expanse of Vrindavan, full of flowering trees and creepers. Coming to the bank of the Yamuna, the daughter of Mount Kalinda, he was overjoyed to see the slopes of Govardhan Hill, the king of mountains. All his friends, the cowherd men, had brought with them treasuries full of beautiful, glittering jewels. Wanting to sport in the calves' pasture near his house, Krishna went there and delighted in playing with all his might with his friends. His eyes followed a large ball as it moved up and down, and he invented excellent new melodies on his flute. Decorated with two tigers' claws, Krishna's delicate throat appeared very splendid, and small tinkling bejeweled bells ornamented his waist. A peacock feather adorned the top of his head, and he was encircled with lovely garlands of gunja berries. Sri Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends, covering themselves with blankets, pretended they had become bulls. Like a lion, Krishna annihilated the cruel elephantine demon Vatsasura, and then, entering the beak of the giant crane demon Baka, just like a thunderbolt, Krishna split his body, which was like a mountain peak. When Krishna killed the Baka demon, the delighted cowherd boys embraced him, and the demigods showered down excellent sumana flowers. Sri Krishna, the protector of the calves, was decorated with blooming flowers and wore a garland of forest blossoms. May he now delight me with his pastimes. Apispada mode, padipada sudha koti madure, purana gramanda, bahati valila rasajare, manovatsak patum, vishya vishagati vishati me, kripayasya turna, damayat mamantana kapate. O Krishna, the very fragrant river of your loving pastimes, which is 1,000,000 times sweeter than nectar, flows within the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. But instead of drinking at that river, the calf of my mind prefers to enter a cave and drink the poison of sense gratification. O Krishna, O Lord of the calves, please quickly curb the calf of my mind with your stick of mercy and bring it back to the river of your pastimes. Abhasopi Shruti Parisaram Tavakinasya Namna Sarpan Alpam Lokotadamagasto Mamoksham Karoti Naita Chitram Sakabirakilayanandaralam Bhavishto Yan Govinda Swayamagamam Mokshayasyekameva. O Govinda, when even a dim reflection of your holy name approaches one's ears, one is quickly freed from a multitude of sins. Yet this is not very wonderful, because when you entered the demon Agasura to save your cowherd boyfriends, you liberated that sinful demon. Kanananta bhukti kama muchanada pura dama shinga pura vatsapal bhogabhaga chakravara sangalam datosha jala maggunanna vatsapala mandudati puri kedna mitra sanga nita vela Anguludda kananassa sharada vichananassa davatulya lochanassa puti gandhi mochanassa mega bhagatana vassa saparupadana vassa vikshayati vismitena tasya kukshamashitena vatsapala mandalena nita kedna muchalena Taptamunksha Samba Vishnu Mundata Subhakti Rishna Meditanga Dundavatam Hoditaha Janmadata Ikshayami Jivitena Dimba Sanchayena Tena Sadameti Satta Dagatiram Apti Bhukta Raga Esha Bhakta Munditesha Buri Raji Sandatesha Madhisimni Rajmanam Piteva Dimmamana. O Krishna, desiring to take lunch in the forest, you filled your buffalo horn bugle with a loud sound. Your beautiful cowherd boyfriends understood your desire, and when they joined you, you became delighted. You urged them to come to a scenic spot and then performed many wonderful pastimes with them. The demon Agasura assumed the form of a serpent and obstructed the path in the forest. His gaping mouth was completely dark, his eyes blazed like fire. He gave off a bad odor, and the top of his body touched the clouds. The cowherd boys were amazed to see him, and then they fearlessly entered into his mouth. O Krishna, when you saw this, you became unhappy, thinking something bad might happen to your devotees. So you at once entered the mouth of the serpent, expanded your body, obstructed his breathing, and killed him. O Krishna, with your glance you restored the boys and calves to life. Then, very eager to eat lunch, you went with them to the bank of a clear stream. As you ate your lunch with the cowherd boys, you appeared exceedingly beautiful, seated in their midst. They treated you with great respect, just as one would treat a baby elephant. Face to face with the cowherd boys, you smiled gently. Although you usually eat only food offered in sacrifice, you expertly took lunch with your cowherd boyfriends. Indra and the other demigods were amazed to see these pastimes of yours. As you and the boys ate lunch, the calves nibbled grass and gradually wandered far away. Then you went into the forest to find them. Lord Brahma, eager to see your glorious pastimes, stole the calves and boys and led them away. O Krishna, you understood this with your sharp intelligence and smiled, appearing as splendid as the moon. O Krishna, being a treasury full of the jewels of virtuous qualities, you wanted to please the boys' and calves' mothers, and thus you expanded yourself, assuming the precise forms of the calves and boys. In this way you played for an entire year in Braja, all the while increasing the love of the mothers for their offspring, who were actually all you. When Lord Brahma returned, he saw your beautiful, wonderful, transcendental forms as the calves and boys. He became delighted and, following the example of the inhabitants of Gokula, very earnestly glorified your greatness. When he returned to Brahmaloka by your order, he returned the boys and calves to Braja. O Krishna, O lotus-eyed Lord with splendid blackish curly hair and kunda bud-like teeth, O great opulence in Nanda's cow pens, I take shelter of you. You are bedecked with shoka blossoms, and you yourself are like a yellow lotus flower attracting the eager bumblebees with its sweet aroma. The calves obey you. O Krishna, glittering armlets bedeck your arms, splendid anklets grace your feet, and beautiful earrings ornament your ears. You delight your friends. You protect the adorable calves and are decorated with colorful mineral pigments. The cowherd men and gopis love you, but the yogis can hardly ever reach you. O Krishna, you wear a champak flower on your ear, and you are very merciful to the suffering souls. Your shining fame is glorified in the best poetry. O Lord, may I always offer obeisances to you. O Lord of all, please grant me just a tiny particle of devotion to you.
Yanni Vaktamabut Prabhu Nihichato Vaktro Pite Madhurim Tamun Gata Yatadriyan Nipisatam Hasomaya Svikrito Vayathaya Tathapi Deva Bhavitana Yammamo Pakramo Sarvana Taharastradiya Vajana Basopi Anvishruto. O Lord, I have now incurred the laughter of the learned devotees by attempting to describe your sweetness, which even Lord Brahma cannot describe. Yet my attempt will not go in vain, for as is well known, even a dim reflection of your devotional service removes all the ignorance born of material life. Sapato mam yaschana raja raji palayava rajan vajaraja putra Sukane chakranga karaksaki nam chakrivatam chakramadasya chakri. May Sri Krishna, the son of Braja's king, Nanda, protect me. Krishna is very beautiful, and his hand is decorated with an auspicious mark in the shape of a wheel. He killed Dhenukasura and the other ass demons, and thus he pleased his friends, who had asked him to kill the demons so they could get the fruits in the Talavan forest. Jaya Dena Lakshya Shatagupti Daksha Vanamandalantam Manasittikantam Abalapta Hasha Kutakeli Vasha Baladevi Gita Ganashakshita Vanaraji Rupa Pashupala Bhupa Kata Pakshivada Charitanukara Dita Mittaranga Dasa Valgaranga Padamulla Yunna Patabaharunda Baladundaru the Nijamittakuta Yavano Bakula Tararaji Mula Parabandasena Kata Dugdapena Patalana Kalpanava Pushpatalpa Vadamanya Sutta Sadarani Gupta Vishabana Bandha Manuragananda Kalagita Dishya Sabalabam Dishtakata Padmaninda Taranara Vinda Vitapavatana Parivinyamana Paripukutala Palaluna Balakala Vakuruda Hasitopaguda Pulatara Kesha Ditavira Vesha Kanatungatala Vipatam Tarala Mupalabda Dama Hatisaka Dama Tadaguna Dunga Tinaratsamanga Palavanda Patakata Harshajata Balasham Nadishtakara Rupa Dishta Harakama Palakata Harshamala Todagadika Lakada Chakravala Tinaviti Hota Namitatma Gotra Hatadinukani Vibhuta Vivanditana Rajabanga Parajata Ranga Dipavaga Bida My Sambasida Dipavaga Bida My Sambasida Dipavaga Bida My Sambasida Dipavaga Bida My Sambasida.
O Krishna, O you who are expert at protecting millions of cows, when you entered the gorgeous forest of Braja, you became delighted and showered down a rain of pastimes. O king of the cowherd boys, you described how the thick branched trees in the cool forest of Braja were glorifying Lord Baladev. You delighted your friends by imitating the sounds and motions of swans, peacocks, cuckoos, ducks, and other birds. Your body glowed splendidly with ecstatic bliss. You expertly wrestled with your friends and defeated them with your strong arms. Bhadrasena fashioned a bed for you at the base of a tree on the bank of the Yamuna. That flower-bedecked bed was as soft as the foam of milk, and as you slept there, your friends protected you. O Krishna, your friend Rishabha, who was bound to you with ties of affection, pleased you with his soft, melodious singing. Your friend Subal massaged your lotus feet, which deride the beauty of lotuses. Another friend fanned you with a small, blossoming branch. The cowherd boys were very eager to eat the ripe tala fruits, and when you heard their charming entreaty, a smile arose on your moon-like face, and you assumed a heroic aspect. O Krishna, with Balaram you entered the Talavan forest, full of very tall trees. Balaram shook the trees, and when all the fruits fell down, you became jubilant. The ass demon Dhenukasura heard the fruits falling and became angry. When he was killed by Lord Balaram, who fulfills the desires of the devotees, you became garlanded with joy. O Krishna, O killer of the inimical horse demon Keshi, like a forest fire you burned to ashes the grass of Dhenuka's ass demon followers. Thus you pleased your friends. O Krishna, O you who killed Dhenukasura and other demons, O you to whom the learned devotees bow down, O you who uprooted the Yamal Arjun trees and thus delighted Nalakuvara and Manigriva, O you who frightened King Kamsa and your other enemies with your demon-smashing prowess, O Lord, please be merciful to me. Pina pina varodgata hanudanam yakshira purai balarambo jakshivadam vayanti nibadam chiramburi vaibhavam dhasam najata gandha shaila patali pandu tvisham mandalam dhinunam padipalayanta matavi kunche bhavandham bhaje. O Lord Krishna, as effulgent and white as a multitude of silver mountains, the Surabhi cows you protect violently mock the magnificence of the ocean of milk with the flowing rivers of milk that flow daily from their swollen udders. O lotus-eyed Krishna, I worship you. Galayasya panaratna kuttamam kuttayan parasaroja gattanay mangalani vitanota tandave panditasta vashikhanda shikaro. O reader, Sri Krishna, who wears a peacock feather crown, is an expert and enthusiastic dancer. With his lotus feet, he struck the Kaliya serpent's jewel-studded expanded hoods. May that Sri Krishna grant good fortune to you. Jagadvanasi sangamam gaduttatagatangamam bujjangamam dalipatam patangananna niradam Shagni dagna niradam narikshitasya tiradam Udariduha darpatakadam mugvasarpata Chanara sankitasya takpatam guru samanta takprayovakina vanalam parijjalad vishanalam Danukshite satam gati vijodatam bhusangadi karala drishti dharanai pranamani prabhalanai yutina lokadahana vanadikali hayana Vishobadina vishitak papanna bala chishitak tatobadava lokatak sametiti vishokata Tanuskalat patali bhi mahatanada shali bhi balopadesha shada tastadara davatara dakshinayana vitralala sai mohu vitakulala sai sadhara vindhabalaka samastadana palaka Velokitak smitana nakutora gavamana nakpanana bogoroda naksurad ganani shoda nakshitana jinda vibra mukspadat karala vikrama. Many snakes lived in a lake in the Yamuna River, and all creatures in the vicinity of the lake were dying because of them. Even Garuda couldn't approach any of the fish in that lake because of Sabri Muni's curse. Krishna saw that all the trees and grass growing near the lake had died because of the fiery poison emanating from the terrible Kaliya serpent. Krishna noticed a kadamba tree growing on the bank of the lake, and he proudly and delightedly climbed it. Unafraid of the terrible Kaliya serpent, Krishna then jumped into the water, which was burning with poison. His weight caused huge waves to arise in all directions. The Lord agitated the waters with his arms and created a tidal wave that extended 225 yards onto the shore. As he swam about, he made a tumultuous sound, and soon he was surrounded by the furious and injurious Kaliya serpent. From his 1,000 hoods, studded with glittering rubies, Kaliya stared at Krishna with frightening, cruel eyes, and then the serpent enwrapped him in his coils. When the Gopas and Gopis arrived at the river bank, they were overcome with grief and bewilderment by the shocking sight of Krishna enwrapped in Kaliya's coils. They had come in such haste that some of their garments were slipping from their bodies. They all cried very loudly and wanted to enter the lake, but Lord Balaram stopped them with his instructions, and they gave up the idea. Instead, they became stunned with grief. Then, as the elder Gopas and Gopis and their children looked upon the smiling face of Krishna, the Lord showed his contempt for Kaliya by expanding his body within the confines of the coils and breaking free. In this way, Krishna removed his friend's grief. Displaying his great strength, he looked like Garuda performing pastimes. After Sri Krishna broke free from the grip of Kaliya, who had become yellow with the effulgence of the jewels on his heads, the Lord joyfully leapt up on the serpent's expanded hoods and began performing a festive transcendental dance there. From the sky, Brahma, Shiva and the other demigods saw how Krishna was subduing Kaliya, and they all became jubilant, showering flowers on him. The demigods offered prayers to that wonderful boy, whose hair swung to and fro in time with his graceful dancing. The gopis said, "O dear friend Yashoda, as your son moves with childish grace, he casts restless sidelong glances upon us. With his exquisite gracefulness he captivates Cupid, and he has broken the pride of Kaliya." As Krishna holds his hand high and playfully nods his head, laughter is beginning to blossom on his face, and his necklace swings on his neck. "O Yashoda, O Queen of Braja, just glance at your son, who is affectionately dancing before you." When Mother Yashoda heard the gopis' joyful words, she became jubilant. Thus Mother Yashoda saw her son, who was harshly crushing Kaliya. As he leapt among the snakes, Krishna looked so beautiful that he appeared to be the crown of Cupid. Then Kaliya's wives offered prayers to the Lord, and because he is gentle at heart, he granted fearlessness to Kaliya, the king of the serpents. "O Krishna, in a festive spirit, Kaliya and his wives worshipped you and anointed you with excellent unguents, and you, wearing a white lotus earring, were very merciful to them. O Krishna, when you came out from the lake after chastising Kaliya, you delighted your relatives. You respectfully bowed down to your superiors, such as your father Nanda and your elder brother Balaram, and Mother Yashoda quickly and joyfully kissed you. O Krishna, O eternal Lord, all glories to you. You are an ocean of mercy and also an ocean full of the jewels of your pastimes. You destroy the river of your surrendered devotees' suffering. O Krishna, please have mercy on me." Kamam damo dadamama monakpannagakpinna bhogo Dushta shibhi kutalabalanai chovayatyesha lokam Tadvikrantas samudita padadvanda pankeruhankam Govindavi kadadamanahi tandavayadandayamo. O Lord Damodar, the enormous serpent of my mind tortures me with its fangs of wicked desires and slitherings of crooked dealings. O Krishna, O subduer of Kaliya, you can overpower the serpent of my mind. So if you wish, please mark that serpent with your lotus footprints and punish it with your dancing. Bandirasya tatanti tadakanda kandalasya danashango Saki mandalani badham vikridaya pundarikaksha. O lotus-eyed Krishna, O expert fighter, please induce your coward boyfriends to play with you at the base of the Bandi Ravana banyan tree, which is as big as a forest. Sudadavali padivitak Shuti Hadamudali Gitak Sudabi Vichanasari Vadapitam Vadadari Pino Jalapudidanda Shidasis Pudachikanda Shashikanda Balaladak Piva Davidiyakapato Kadamina Dapada Vase Pasadat Tipichimase Chitamana Lakshmi Baram Padidita Davakvakaram Dena Mohora Shadam Pikakata Panchamanadam Sanjogadam Ayodam Pisamada Sovada Puram Vikasita Charisharisam Sutamalli Nibirisham Vrindavanamatirishta Sabala Swayamabhivishta Kalpada Buddhasangama Kachadihi Devishamo Kuchadamana Batumba Kuchadatiko Malakumba Kachapatipaka Magunda Kachabalva Manapunda Kridan Nanvatachaya Kirishapanditapaya Pivatakutakadare Dundi Baba Vahari Kalpatani Budaraga Kutasakiva Gavabaga Shitalamadadhanukule Bandiradamamule Kuttaballavavesham Pavishantam Ranaresham Danandeva Valasi Svikatavankalashashi Jaiti Katabalapakša Sudaduhakamadakša Shidama Priyakama Sudadavahata Rama Chapayan Palambakayam Halana Nimatamayam Daivata Padinata Lila Sudadanandana Shila Tattavadoram Yatak Sudabi Lagapadapatak Samamana Vishan Gopesham Kadanajanana Lopai Munjavalivakarale Vipane Kachanavashale Nabdakala Davalakas Tungada Sukabadepak Pidabayum Kadadavak Pakatola Sazanobavo Vanajanjana Yasakari Tambandi Davahari Gokula Jananasa Sindo Jayadayadu Vadabando Jayadayadu Vadabando Jayadayadu Vadabando O Krishna, arrayed in exquisite yellow garments and surrounded by your friends, you enchant your companions' ears with your flute song as you herd the Surabi cows. O Krishna, your large arms are effulgent, your head is bedecked with a peacock plume, your forehead is as beautiful as a half-moon, and your broad chest resembles a door. Even during the hottest part of the summer, when the sun shines fiercely, Vrindavan manifests all the pleasant opulences of spring. It was in Vrindavan that you rescued the boys and cows from the forest fire. Vrindavan is full of fresh green grass that attracts the cows, and it is also full of cuckoos singing on the fifth note of the scale, and peacocks crying out on the first note. It is also full of a gentle, sweet fragrance coming from multitudes of beautiful blossoming shirisa and mulli flowers. When Krishna, Balaram, and their friends entered Vrindavan, they all became very joyful. Sometimes the lords would fight playfully with their friends, and sometimes Krishna and Balaram would rest in the shade of a tree. Sometimes they all played catch with fresh tumba gourds, very delicate kumbha fruits, or ripe gunja berries, bilva fruits, or amalakai fruits. In this way, Krishna and his friends enjoyed wonderful pastimes. In the matter of playing, Krishna was the best of scholars. While Krishna played with his friends, he became eager to play the game of single combat, in which the boys would challenge one another in pairs. In this spirit he divided his friends into two groups. While Krishna and his friends were playing single combat among the roots of the Bandi Ravana banyan tree, where there were pleasant cool breezes, the king of the demons, Pralambasara, entered their midst in the guise of a cowherd boy. Krishna knew the demon's sinister plan, so he cheerfully accepted him as a friend, while thinking of a way to kill him. Pralambasara joined the boys in their contest, and Balaram's side won. Thus expert, mysterious Balaram, Sridam's dear friend, was carried by Pralamba, the devotee's enemy. Pralamba tried to carry Balaram away, and when the demon gave up his coward boy form and assumed his actual demon's body, Lord Balaram killed him. The demigods offered obeisances to Baladev, and the coward boys became delighted. When the Surabhi cows strayed far away, Krishna and the coward boys searched quickly for them. The cowherd boys were concerned about the loss of their wealth. Krishna and the boys rejoiced when they found all the cows in a field of tall munja grass in a large forest. Krishna then manifested his splendid prowess by swallowing a fearsome forest fire that was about to destroy the cowherd boys. O Krishna, You delight the surrendered devotees and perform pastimes in Bandi Ravana forest. O ocean of loving exchanges with the Brijbasis, O friend of the distressed, all glories to you. Kalata Shidamanam Shidamanam Nikilitum Dilitum Vande Rama Vadajang Amadutadum Kalata Shidamanam Shidamanam Nikilitum Dilitum Vande Rama Vadajang Amadutadum. I offer respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna, Balaram's younger brother. On his chest he wears a garland fashioned by the goddess of fortune, and he delights his friend Sri Dama with his many pastimes. To the beautiful gopis he appears like a mobile desire tree. Premo lasana shilam ballava mallasya vajayate lila yannodanim vapanchi vedanchi suno vapanchiyati. All glories to the pastimes of Sri Krishna, the powerful cowherd boy. His devotees' love makes those pastimes effulgent, and Narada's Veena expands their sweetness. Amega samaya puti dachita vishya sudukanda dachita nipa kokaba pushpa valada sanna vipana landa ladada bhakta padashadishta vadada hadi vivavadari shadada. Lankata bahupaksha padata kanana kata divya chadada vesha chadada nataka vada chandra katati chadaka vada kopa yuvadi dharya matana rupa tadabanita katana. Alochana palavena vadana valga dadada bhakta kalana savasukata vaiva vadada vena dashada raja dadada venu madada nadana tata keki nevahamega katata. Seva janata mukta yavasa dheena nachaya chitta damasa rupa valasa danga valana mohita sudha vinda lalana. Billi yuvati toshi masana shashi milata pada kusana hari hadana yosha damala neti sukada bhakta kamala. Dasini the Shaila Vachita Seva Napashupasha Katata Pahi Kanana Manvadajana Mishra the Vapa Banjanam Ishra the Vapa Banjana. O Krishna, when the rainy season came, you protected the cows and took shelter from the rain under a tree or in a cave. You were covered with decorations of kadamba and kakoba flowers. In the dense forest of Braja you gave gifts of food and other things that your charming devotees desired. You performed your transcendental pastimes in the forest of Braja, which are filled with swans and many other birds, and decorated by the attractively opulent autumn season. O Krishna, O best of dancers, a peacock feather graces your beautiful hair, and your beauty destroys the composure of the young gopis, who narrate your pastimes and qualities as you enter the forest. They say, O Krishna, to see you with your lips moving as you play the flute is the fulfillment of the eyes. Your flute must have amassed the wealth of all pious reactions to be able to taste the nectar of your reddish lips. When you sweetly play the flute, the peacocks respond by dancing. The clouds serve you by covering the harsh summer sun and creating a pleasant shady spot. When the cows hear the sound of your flute, they become delighted and stop eating grass. The wives of the demigods are also captivated by your flute song and the movements of your beautiful form. When the aborigine girls find the kumkum dust fallen from your lotus feet onto the soft grass, they touch that dust and become very pleased. The sight of your lotus face delights the bright eyes of the beautiful does. Govardhan Hill serves you in many ways, and you carry a rope for binding the cows. In this way the gopis speak of you as you enter the forest. O merciful Lord, please protect me, who am always acutely distressed. Ganabhaniya gattano dudada gosha simantini papanchicha gattayi shuti vitanka vikridate Shadan vahasatatavi kodahabu vaharapriye ratis tvaitarasvani mama salila munmilatu. O Krishna, you enact your pastimes among the women of the cowherd community of Braja, who are agitated with intense love for you. Indeed, all the women in the three worlds wear the narrations of those pastimes as ear ornaments. In the autumn season you are fond of sporting within Vrindavan forest, whose blossoming flowers make it appear to be smiling. O Lord, may I easily develop intense love for you. Smera bisalele kalinda duhutu magna barakhandaram skandanyasta samasta pattavasano namukti bhungi patu. Nirvyajam vajakhannikavadasakridbam yavadam yatita bhayatung kadambashaki shakararudastri lokim hari. Sri Krishna stole the young Vrajagopis' exquisite garments and placed them on a branch of a tall kadamba tree. Those beautiful, smiling young gopis, immersed up to their necks in the water of the Yamuna, appealed to him again and again to return their clothes. Sri Krishna, seated on the topmost branch of the tree, replied with expertly fashioned elliptical joking words, "May that Sri Krishna protect the three worlds." Nijugano lasalo beta gidisuta vataram basho beta pashupakanika sarajavane vachita manjana pekshapavane Vadadhamagato lunchitam vata priyakamashuto ranginam vada sapati lokayan goshta balaka vikati vallali banguralaka Smitapadispadan Vaktamandala Sputatamalati Klipta Kundala Sadapasam Tatakshita Vepit Puniyakokti Visistarepita Vadana Vispadat Kakujalpana Vihita Samba Bebe Kalpana Satya Sanchayam Sanvamakulay Jatati Yachita Kanyakakala Vatatatangshayora Pitangshaka Sitavadola Sanmandutangshika Pakatatagraha Bhupahedibi Sakakulandital Jopakedibi Tadapurastate Tastadabala Achamamanayan Gokulamala Mudadamugdadi Kelinamada Sakalaballabi Vrindashamada Bhakanalambari Bhutahastakam Sabadamagatan Namamastaka Sapatoratmano Bhaktikarika Chittamohotsavakpikshadharika Salalamanjane Vyanjanagnatam Vajavadevadam Sushtavagnatam Shidasikarayam Nasyapodaye Vasabamatmane Kshemamurtiye Madhamamandalim Manjulochana Pranini Manastapamochana Kimabikanika Kalibanatan Punaya Sankudada Shumanata Sukabharadamurattata Prayan Vasana Sanjayam Tonamarpayan Katakumadika Chittadohata Sakala Sundari Prema Mohada Vandamandala Vistakama Dukkamana Ballavi Mallikama Duttamakaleshama Mindalaya Vajamahinda He Devapalaya Vajamahinda De Devapalaya Vajamahinda De Devapalaya Vajamahinda De Devapalaya Vajamahinda De Devapalaya. Enthralled by the splendor of Sri Krishna's transcendental qualities, the beautiful gopis worshipped goddess Katyayani for 1 month to get him as their husband. Once, standing in the forest, Krishna saw the young daughters of the cowherd men bathing in the Yamuna. That best of dramatic actors then stole their garments and climbed a kadamba tree. When the curly-haired young gopis saw Krishna, the creepers of the young girl's eyebrows frowned. But Krishna, who wore malati flower earrings, just smiled at them. Immersed in the water up to their necks, the gopis shivered with cold. Clearly embarrassed and their voices stuttering with loving anger, and also with unsuppressible joy, they begged Krishna for their clothes, speaking with great respect, with pleasing words of conciliation, and also with threats. Then Sri Krishna placed the gopis' garments on his broad shoulders. The gopis could see how beautifully effulgent Krishna's teeth were as he spoke playfully. condemning King Kamsa and asking the gopis to appear before him to reclaim their garments. The gopis respected Krishna's words, and thus Krishna forced them to quickly approach the Kadamba tree where he was sitting. Krishna's joking words made the gopis jubilant and bewildered. With their heads respectfully bent down and their hands covering the pubic area, they appeared naked before Krishna, obediently carrying out his instructions. Clever Krishna, who was expert at testing his devotees' pure love, became delighted when he saw the gopis in this way, and he blessed them. Krishna said to the gopis, "You have committed a great offense to the demigods by appearing naked while bathing in the Yamuna. So offer obeisances by folding your charming hands above your heads." In this way, Krishna fulfilled the gopis' auspicious vow to get him as their husband. Beautiful-eyed Krishna thus removed all distress from the affectionate gopis' minds. The gopis then cheerfully, respectfully, and with great affection offered obeisances to Sri Krishna. Krishna pleased them by immediately returning all their garments. Sri Krishna thus fulfilled the gopis' desire. He enchanted them and granted them the sentiment of pure love. He is the wish-fulfilling cow who satisfies the desires of his surrendered devotees, and he is the springtime that causes the Mallika flowers of the beautiful gopis to blossom. O Krishna, O Lord of all, O resting place of the goddess of fortune, O Emperor of Braja, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, please protect me. Vidadinayapi davalam tavadagadevadikirti chandakaya Keshava pasupali nam chittam chittam jiguni putorago. O Keshava, although with the moonlight of your fame, which rests in knowledge of you, you whiten the universe, freeing it from all sins, that moonlight also reddens the gopis with the sentiments of pure love for you. Thus you act in two contradictory ways. This is certainly very amazing. Padito shahitam nayaya jukai samanu chanujanaischa nasi shakya Vratiha yabatim dadasa vande tava govinda sadapadaravinda. O Govinda, the Brahmins who continually perform sacrifices do not please you, nor do the learned Vedic scholars. You are conquered only by love. Please grant that love to me. I constantly offer obeisances to your lotus feet. Rangatas toshita gyatina sangato denukaratina karnapalis bodat pallavar vishitas sarvato ballavar. Gopasi mantani kamaka kananot sanga sangamaka klipta vindata vimanana bhikshita smeda gopanana. Sangstavan buraham sampadak shlagayan vyajatak sampadak svansakin chudnvaro tapitan premabi pratanam mapitan prishiyan nanvade dudadak kyapata brahmana krurato. Sri Krishna is accompanied by Balaram, who delights his relatives with his dancing and who is the enemy of Dhenukasura. Sri Krishna is surrounded on all sides by the gopis, who wear earrings fashioned from blossoming flowers. Sri Krishna, the lover of the gopis, meets them within the forest. He honors the forest of Vrindavan and looks upon the smiling faces of the cowherd boys. Sri Krishna blesses the trees on the pretext of praising them. The cowherd boys, afflicted with hunger, appeal to Krishna, who sent them to some Brahmins performing a sacrifice nearby. Those Brahmins cruelly rejected the cowherd boys' appeal for food. The wives of those Brahmins were the garland decorating the community of Brahmins' wives. When they understood how their husbands had neglected Krishna and the cowherd boys, they immediately remembered their beloved Krishna. Transgressing the order of their husbands, who were performing sacrifices for obtaining material happiness, they filled containers with purika cakes and palatable rice. Anointed with great affection and carrying jeweled vessels full of milk, they courageously and swiftly went to the edge of the forest. There they offered Krishna and the boys their containers full of wheat cakes and other palatable foods. The wives of the Brahmins exclaimed delightedly and looked at Krishna with great reverence. Krishna wore garments that rivaled gold with their splendor, and he rested his left hand, which protects the three worlds, on his friend's shoulder. Sri Krishna, the effulgent ornament of all dancers, was decorated with small tinkling bells. His luster derided the beauty of blue lotus flowers. His chest was broad, and he was adorned with swinging blossom earrings. The Brahmins' wives glorified Krishna. "O beautiful Krishna, out of great anxiety we have swiftly come from a great distance to meet you. We have approached you because you are so merciful. Please protect us." The all-famous Sri Krishna carefully considered the emotional appeal of the Brahmins' wives. He granted their desires in all respects by assuring them that they would meet him again in the future at the time of their deaths. Sri Krishna is supremely pure, and he is more charming than a fresh blossom. He delights the senses with his transcendental qualities. Having sent the wives of the Brahmins back to their homes, he ate the food they had brought him and also gave some to the cowherd boys. The pastimes of Krishna, who appears like an elephant in rut, delight his servants. O Govinda, you eternally perform pastimes in Gokula. Please always protect me, who am proud and in great distress. Dukkochitti paramanurananda punanubhuti Seyam damo tadataduchita sadhananushtitiva Sattang datti nakamalabuho pyantare natabandho Karunyam te muhuradamatak pratahitasya bindu. O Damodar, O friend of the suffering, without your mercy even Lord Brahma cannot attain liberation, which frees one from distress and immerses one in the supremely sweet river of bliss. Without your mercy, the path of liberation does not become open. I therefore beg for a drop of your mercy. Amannamadamandaraya halamakandamakhandalam Yarudnadabasena yakputamodasya govadhanam Achandakadamadhuri pataladandi tundashriyam Tamatavadamandanam makadakundalatvam bhaje. O Krishna, you wear shark-shaped earrings, peacock feathers, and other excellent ornaments. The beauty of your face eclipses the great sweetness of the cooling, gentle moon. You lifted the exceedingly heavy Govardhan hill and obstructed arrogant King Indra. I worship you. Ahetuvada jalpita vajavasava vadamardane Busurokada gomahijada pujanotsava vardane Bhavatachana samparachana cheturabhare podake Kalpita tulasupa sankula shaskuli dharimodake Pushpavandana dhatu chandana mandita kila godane Gopamandala kalpita chalasanu kandada shodane Udbatadava buddharotsava sanjita kala bandute Tatparikama pujanakama buddhisam brahma sandute Smadharopama vigrahotama bhukti vispudarodane mangalakada vispura varavanda ballava modane Rishtavasava rishi samlava kinna gokula veshchite Drasa sankula bandhu mandala sharmadadvata cheshchite Dakshine tadapani pushkana shilita tula parvate Bimbamankula nilito tula jammamadana garbite. By presenting many logical arguments to your father, you stopped the sacrifice for Lord Indra and created instead a festival for worshipping the Brahmins, the cows, and Govardhan Hill. You explained that all prosperity would follow the worship of Govardhan Hill. O Krishna, you had the Brijbasis prepare many palatable foods, such as shashkuli, yogurt, and sweet candies. You had them decorate the cows with flowers, red powders, mineral pigments, and sandalwood paste. And then you had them perform a purificatory ceremony for the caves and the summit of Govardhan Hill. Inspired by you, the cowherd men became enthusiastic to arrange the festival for Govardhan Hill, and they raised a tumultuous sound. They hastily worshipped and circumambulated the hill, and you, assuming a gigantic form as large as a mountain, ate all the foods they had offered. At this, all the cowherds became delighted, thinking it a very auspicious sign. O Krishna, the inhabitants of Gokula, distressed by the great inundation sent by angry Indra, were afraid of him and surrounded you. Then you protected your friends by performing the wonderful pastime of lifting the incomparably heavy Govardhan Hill with your left lotus hand. Thus you crushed Indra's pride with the blossom of your pastimes. O Krishna, when your friends suffered because of the great rain, you sheltered them under Govardhan Hill, and they became immersed in the ocean of amazement. Your friends became delighted when they saw your effulgent face, and when the gopis saw the moonlight of your gentle smile, they felt respectfully attached to you. O Krishna, as Mother Yashoda looked at you lifting Govardhan Hill, she was simultaneously frightened, amazed, and delighted, and she embraced you. Srimati Radharani also saw you from the corners of her moving eyes. By warding off the thunderbolts and violently fierce clouds and wind sent by Indra, who was blinded with his opulence, you chewed up his great pride. For 7 days the incomparably heavy Govardhan Hill rested on the couch of your hand. With a glance you checked the clouds of Indra and humbled him. O Krishna, when you instructed your friends, the Brijbasis, with sweet words, they left the shelter of Govardhan Hill and then joyfully sang the glories of your strength and heroism. You then replaced that best of mountains, beautifully covered with trees, in its original spot. It is your unbroken vow always to protect the inhabitants of Braja. O Krishna, you are a festival of joy for the eyes of your parents, the delighted king and queen of the cowherd men and elder gopis, who were decorated with excellent kumkum powder and blossoming flowers, and who had formerly chanted various mantras for your protection. You stood on the summit of Govardhan Hill, which was so large that it obstructed the sun. In that place, frightened and ashamed, Indra offered obeisances to the dust of your lotus feet, and he also offered gifts of excellent garments and a jeweled throne. O Krishna, with your smiling face you removed Indra's fear and confusion, and then you spoke many eloquent words. You granted auspiciousness to the cows and, assuming the post of Indra over them, became jubilant. Narada Muni, who travels in space, glorified you by singing and playing many melodies on his tumburu. O Krishna, a charming Surabhi cow then sprinkled you with aromatic milk, and you relieved the pious demigods from all distress. Your speech is as pleasing as the song of an excited cuckoo. O Madhava, O Supreme Person, may the bumblebee of my fickle intelligence meet you face to face.
Shamottung bajagale vinihita krishnena vrishtichita dhauta data barishita lakunati mukya gari gorita Shurashtapada kalpitasya vipalachatrasya lakshmimbaram vibrangadara raptani mata mahadandasya vimrajite. With his dark bluish raised arm, Krishna held Govardhan Hill aloft.
being full of palm trees, kunati flowers, and various minerals, and having been washed by the great rains, the hill became yellow. It appeared very opulent, like a great golden umbrella furnished with a large sapphire handle, and it shone magnificently. Nanda pahad chakitasya karita shringa bhingavali parichatam saleleshwarasya Hridyam sanandanadorapa paraga gandham vande makunda tavadeva padaravindam. O Lord Mukunda, you became concerned when Varuna, the controlling deity of the waters, carried away Nanda Maharaj. O Lord, I offer respectful obeisances to your lotus feet, which are very dear to Varuna. The great sages, such as Sanandana Muni, find it very difficult to smell the aroma of the pollen of your lotus feet, which are surrounded by swarms of bumblebees decorated with crowns. Nidadibabrityarit gopeshadamagashita lamdambudinatalaya pasidita lilataya shudojalabani sudadasa yatapasha yudamantu klamasamajana tannimatahasajana Bhakyapitanandekshana lamdatula chittakshana pitta sahage mankatanata klamahari vata savapata sandarshana chittamvata nandanana Sankamata loko tatatattam nijacharya vata sambhavata savishada bhavotsaka gopotkara nidyankata samvedana sankalpata satsadana O Krishna, you searched for your father, the king of the cowherd men, when he was carried off by a servant of Varuna, the god of the waters. When you arrived at Varuna's abode, he praised your multifarious pastimes. O Krishna, you spoke to Varuna with pure and splendid words that were just like a stream of nectar. When Varuna said he had become your servant, you excused his offense and became satisfied with him. O Krishna, when you reverently glanced at your father, Nanda Maharaj, you celebrated a festival within your heart. You returned home and relieved all Mother Yashoda's distress. When Nanda saw all these wonderful pastimes, his face blossomed with amazement. And when he told the cowherd men of your uncommon supernatural activities, they grew eager to know whether you were the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of all. You understood this thought within their hearts and decided to fulfill their desires. As the cowherd men bathed in the transcendental lake known as the Krura Tirtha, you showed them the supreme, eternal, spiritual Vaikuntha planets. They emerged from the lake amazed and bewildered by that vision. Realizing your glory, the cowherd men were jubilant. O Damodar, O mine of the gopis' happiness, please protect me. Loko ramya kopi vrindata vito nasti kwapi chandasa bandhubhagam vaikuntham yakshishtu sandarsha bhuyo goshnam ninye patu sattvam mukunda. No place is more delightful than Vrindavan. After Lord Mukunda had shown the Vaikuntha planets to his friends, he led them again to that Vrindavan. May he always protect you. Parispurata sundarang charatamatta lakshmi patis tatha bhuvananandinas tadavatara vrindasya cha Hare dabicha matkriti pakadavardhana kintu me vibharti vidhi vismayam kamapi rasa lila rasa. Let the pastimes of Lord Narayan be manifested within this world, and let the pastimes of his various incarnations, such as Lord Nrsimha and Lord Varaha, who delight the three worlds, be similarly manifested. These pastimes do not surprise me, but Krishna's Rasa Lila pastime, which greatly increases the wonder of the devotees, fills my heart with astonishment.
Shadada Viduvikshana Madavada Manapura, Ishtabhajana Vallabhajana Chitta Kamala Sura, Gopa Yuvadi Mandala Madi Mohana Kalagita, Mukta Sakala Kritya Vikala Yovata Badivita, Yoshida Malaneta Kamala Lobe Dashana Mala, Kautaka Budanimita Kadanana Vachana Jala, Tanishamana Shashanayana Bida Bida Benita, Vallabhajana Keda Shamana Vibhama Badavita. Shama Vimala Kanti Patala Duta Madana Laksha, Rakta Madada Yosha Dada Chummana Sona Laksha, Vigraha Padayovata Mada Vikshana Padalina, Channa Madana Bhokta Nikadamana Bujagavina, Lola Kataberata Mataberava the Magista, Pushpa Guru Shuvalita, the Shuburi Supadi Prishta, Labda Nalina Ganda Pulina Gopi Nakatalila, Sashadamada Ranga Ramadaratika Padashila. Pulla Susuma Vanni Kusuma Manita Dayatanga, Galitanana Bhakta Nanina Bringata Tadapanga, Nibadavati Vadanamati Ninnajadeha, Primashana Balla Bagana Manasa Kushaleha. Trishta Vikala Radha Nikala Yovata Purihuta, Budi Vita Tata Duta Vita Bida Bebuta, Viklavatana Gopa Sutanu Lochana Padavita, Charo Hasana Pita, Vasana Kunkuma Pita. Nandidamadi Ghoshi Yuvati Vasa Sivinavishta, Tushti Vachana Chara Vachana Dhuta Vidya Rishta, Samadachaya Pulla Vidya Yovata Tadarasa, Kunda Vadana Chara Vadana Shovata Madohasa.
O Krishna, the charming sight of the autumn moon aroused conjugal desire within you, and thus you became like the sun shining on the lotuses of the hearts of the gopis, who desired to worship you. You enchanted their minds with the sweet sound of your flute, and agitated by that sound, they abandoned their household duties and encircled you. O Krishna, encircled by the gopis, you appeared as if garlanded by their shining lotus eyes, eager to see you. You playfully spoke a network of teasing, joking words to them, and when the gopis heard these words, they approached closer to you, frightened and teary-eyed. You allayed their distress with your great charm. O Krishna, you make millions of cupids tremble with your effulgent blackish splendor, and you expertly kissed the gopis' reddish lips. But when you saw the gopis' discordant pride, you disappeared from the arena of the rasa dance. You became like a Garuda devouring the snakes of your devotees' pride. The gopis could not find you, and they became agitated and restlessly wandered about. Considering the flowers, creepers, and trees their informants, they asked them where you had gone. Then they went to the bank of the Yamuna, full of lotus fragrance, and imitated your pastimes. O Krishna, O Supreme Person, you are eternally and unlimitedly delighted by Srimati Radharani. You decorated the limbs of your beloved Radharani with lovely forest blossoms. The lotus of your face is the pastime abode that attracts the bumblebees of the corners of Radharani's eyes. To increase her great love, you disappeared from her sight. You did this to bestow benedictions on the minds of all the gopis, who are very affectionate and full of pure love for you. O Krishna, when the gopis saw that Radha had become very unhappy, they called out to you in great distress. You were greatly moved by the gopis' lamentations. Thus, smiling charmingly, dressed in yellow garments, and anointed with much yellow kumkum powder, you appeared before the eyes of the beautiful and aggrieved gopis. The delighted gopis spread out cloths for you to sit upon, and you satisfied them with eloquent words, pacifying their hearts. When you began the rasa dance again, the gopis' hearts blossomed with happiness. The gentle smile on your beautiful face was decorated with the kunda flowers of your teeth. O Krishna, expanding yourself to appear before each gopi individually, you increased your beauty, and thus the gopis' desires to enjoy you also increased. Appearing like a playful, greedy bumblebee moving among a multitude of trumpet flowers, you enchanted the gopis, who each thought you were with her alone. You delighted Shiva and the other demigods with your expert dancing. While you danced, the melodious tinkling of your ankle bells enchanted the moon and the stars, and fascinated and delighted the Gandharvas and the sages' wives. Your charming mouth became aromatic and reddened from the palatable betel nuts you chewed, and you praised the gopis as they danced and sang. O Krishna, you disturbed the senses of Lord Shiva, the other demigods, and the whole world with your melodious singing in the rasa dance. Overwhelmed with love, the gopis shyly worshipped you. The festival of the rasa dance was held in a very secluded place, full of the charming humming of swarms of bumblebees. Indra was delighted by that rasa dance, which abounded with the melodious tinkling of ankle bells. In that dance you looked very handsome, and the beauty of your smile with its splendid pearl-like teeth increased the gopis' desires to enjoy with you. O Krishna, when the gopis grew tired from dancing, you stroked their delicate cheeks with your hand and relieved their fatigue. Your arms showed great skill in the battle of Cupid. Intent on winning that battle, you marked the young gopis' breasts with your fingernails. With your supreme celebrated beauty, you are the Cupid who enchants Cupid himself. O Krishna, when you sported with the brilliantly beautiful gopis in the cool water of the Yamuna, the young girls' desires became openly manifested, and they splashed you with water, bringing you great delight. As you enjoyed all these pastimes, the demigods showered flowers upon you, and the simple, splendid gopis affectionately glanced at you. As you enjoyed your charming water pastimes with the gopis, you appeared just like the king of the elephants, and you pulled at the young girls' garments with your beautiful lotus hand. Emerging from the Yamuna, you and the gopis continued the rasa dance in the groves of the Vrindavan forest, which appeared like a palace fashioned from jewels. Impelled by passion, the gopis scratched upon you the marks of love. O Krishna, O hero, O you who reciprocate your devotees' love, O beautiful reddish-eyed son of Nanda, all glories to you. You dance on the shore of the Yamuna, boldly performing the rasa dance. A smidgen of devotion to your lotus feet conquers all ignorance. O Lord of everyone, please cast your merciful glance upon this great sinner.
Ramboru Nikarambani Badapari Rambhena Lamdhanyute Bimhranasya Taditkadamba Vilasatkadambani Vibhramam Gridadam Badaduta Jamma Matanastambere Morushiyo Rasadam Badasartinastabhavavo Vande Padamboruham. O Krishna, ardently embraced by the lovely gopis, you look very splendid, and your pastimes appear like a series of clouds glittering with many lightning bolts. Your wonderful rasa dance condemns the graceful beauty of Airavata, Indra's elephant. O all-powerful Lord, you are very eager to begin the rasa dance. I offer my respectful obeisances to your lotus feet. Ullala ballava lalala dala pallava chummano lasitam no misamalli malyam halmiya halli sakot pullam. Ullala ballava lalala dala pallava chummano lasitam no misamalli malyam halmiya halli sakot pullam. I praise Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is wearing a garland of mully flowers, and who is delighted by kissing the blossoming flowers of the lips of the gopis, who are trembling with desire. His bodily hairs are standing up with joy because he is performing the rasa dance. Bibbadam Shivanasim Nishadadam Padmamunjulakala Vishadadam Pallavi Vudayahadanaikam Hanta Chitta Bhajagoshanayakam. O mind, please worship Sri Krishna, the Prince of Braja, who wears an autumn lotus flower over his ear. Expert in the arts of amorous love, he is the hero who steals away the minds of the gopis. Buruhola Sadammika Vana Mandalandhana Bhumi Bhavana Manjasambhava Kanyakodaka Nimita Bhava Makshimorka Varido Jalakandi Dambana Mapta Kanchana Basharambara Apta Ballava Radbajangama Murti Kalpata Pada Sangama Mugra Shankata Baksu Darshana Shapa Mochana Mishta Darshana Matma Vallabananda Mochana Mundidakala Bandhu Shochana Ashrayami Bhavanda Munjula Kanti Kandala Duta Kandala Mahito Jula Shavari Mukamapta Puvaja Sangamon Mukaballa Vakala Vallavatula Neta Kandana Vindra Makula
Admutamana Mohana Ballavi Kulamatalo at the Chandanam Kalayakshanayaka Bita Yova the Sandidayaka. O Krishna, with your footprints you purified Ambikavana forest, which is splendid with many trees, and you bathed in the waters of the Saraswati river, Brahma's daughter. With your luster more brilliant than a rain cloud, and your garments as effulgent as gold, you delight the eyes. O Krishna, when a snake began swallowing Nanda, the king of the cowherds, you touched that snake with your lotus foot and restored the serpent to its original form, the Vidyadhara Sudarshan, who had been cursed to assume that terrible snake form by the ugly sage Angira. You delivered Sudarshan from that curse and granted him a body so beautiful that it appeared worshipable. In this way you rescued your father Nanda, who is so dear to you, and eradicated your friend's grief. O Krishna, O you whose blackish splendor condemns the brilliance of gold, I take shelter of you. O Krishna, you praised the shining moon, the face of the night. Along with your elder brother Balaram, you came face to face with the gopis and became agitated by the quick movements of the Kanjana birds of their incomparable eyes. Decorated with red kumkum powder, you enchanted the gopis by singing wonderful, perfect songs. You allayed the gopis' fear of Shankachuda, the demon king of the Yakshas. O Krishna, you killed the terrible demon Shankachuda and thus greatly delighted the gopis. And you pleased your elder brother Balaram by giving him Shankachuda's crest jewel. O you to whose lotus feet the kings of all planets offer prayers. O you who are a festival for the Brijbasis. O protector of the gopis. O Madhava, O reservoir of mercy. O Krishna, O Lord of the universe. Please protect me, for I am very unfortunate. Jayati Mahotsava Vidya Vinyadada Shapa Modani Muti Vadibhuta Shankachuda Chuda Mononakela Lokasya. All glories to the blissful form of Sri Krishna, the Lord of all the worlds. He delivered the Vidyadhara Sudarshan from the curse of Angira, and defeating the demon Shankachuda, took away his crest jewel. Niryasakshamahimnam padinatadamalak prema lakshmi varanam sakshatkara kripanam makalamodudata sampadam sampadaya gambiyam vibhramanam upachitadamitas chaturinam chirango bhuyadabhiranari kuchakalasatata lankriti mangalaya. As dark as a sapphire, Sri Krishna is the essence of blackness. Out of his great mercy he helps one develop the great opulence of pure love of God, and thus shows the path to all happiness. He is unlimitedly skillful in performing inconceivable pastimes, and he is the ornament of the water-pot-like breasts of the gopis. May he always grant us good fortune. Divisavadahata yubidikutavata patalatadavama bujishikadadama vilisadavatangsa vadanadritavangsha Sodanagadayoshi dakilamati moshi modatatadagita pasunivahavita sadat udakapura viditi vidishura Kamala bava baga mukavibada baga matidadhanumala rasadakalagana manayadavaloka mushita natashoka vitahadinajata kalata sukavato Girishamukadeva Kritachadana Seva Madhajana Laguna Nayana Rasapurna Gati Vichita Naga Chita Gusana Raga Yuvadidina Tapa Hari Madhadalapa Chatalana Vesha Kipriya Madharesha Kipriya Madharesha O Krishna, distressed by separation from you during the day, the gopis discuss your pastimes. They sing. Krishna's left wrist bears a splendidly shining bracelet, and he holds a flute to his lips. With the sweet sound of his flute, he captivates the minds of all women in the cities of the demigods. He is encircled by Sarabi cows, and he is the powerful hero who stops the flowing of the Yamuna and other rivers with the sound of his flute. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other learned devotees cannot understand his nectarian melodious flute songs. With his delightful glance, he destroys the unhappiness of his surrendered devotees, and with the sound of his flute, he attracts the deer. He is pleased by the cooling, aromatic, gentle breeze. Shiva and the other demigods serve as lotus feet. His eyes are agitated with youthfulness, and he is full of the nectarian mellows of transcendental love. His gracefulness has conquered the charming movements of the elephants, and he is anointed with reddish kumkum powder. During the day, as you wander in the forest, the gopis thus find relief from the distress of separation from you by recounting your beautiful pastimes. O Krishna, O Lord of Mathura, your apparel makes you look like an exquisitely handsome dancer. Please be merciful to me. Jagadundada madhuri durinam mudana mandada minduradurapa mamatarsabadan mudam takatvan mulali nada sudhadun hadunita. O Krishna, O killer of the Mura demon, the nectarian river of your flute song is the abode of great sweetness, a sweetness that is proud of being the greatest thing in the universe. May that flute song river, which is difficult even for Lakshmi Devi to drink, now quench my great thirst. Tudagadana sutanga grava bede dadano kulushagatatatanko danda vispujitani Tadudu dang stron rishta kehura mundra patayatakushalam vak kaishavo vama bhahu. Lord Keshava's left arm has expanded to become a powerful chisel as strong as Indra's thunderbolt. That chisel arm has divided the stone-like body of the horse demon Keshi. That arm, decorated with an armlet, made the demon's fearful teeth fall out. May that left arm of Lord Keshava grant all good fortune to us. Vishidhanajadhananda Vijapashapakulatoshinam Sakadatalanina Kalavishivaparirosinam Dayata Vada Bujishikada Nihida Bujadhanakam Jagadasika Vikata Mukadanaja Madakandakam Nibada Bala Chatalamida Danadapanodhanam Gaganatalamida Kalasуда Nikadamodanam Bujivigabavahamadala Dalita Vishishingikam Tadabihati Dalita Tititanajatanabanggakam Nijinikata Vikata Hayadan Jalochitam Pranaya Badamidalatada Yuvikadana Shochitam Avaganada Guru Shri Krishna pleased the cowherd men who were distressed by the bull demon Arishtasura. Appearing before the demon, Krishna clapped his hands loudly, infuriating him. Krishna then nonchalantly rested his arm on the shoulder of his beloved friend Subal, and thus destroyed the pride of Arishtasura, whose frightening mouth pained the universe. With his great strength, Krishna threw Arista far away, thus delighting all the demigods who had gathered together in the sky to see the fun. With a small fragment of his strength, Krishna broke the demon's horns, and then the Lord struck and broke the demon's wasp-like body. The horse demon, Keshi, who had terrified the demigods and the cowherds, approached near to Krishna and looked menacingly at him, causing the gentle gopis, full of love for Krishna, to lament. The demon emitted an ear-splitting whinny and then attacked Krishna with his hooves. Krishna gracefully repelled the attack and thus destroyed the demon's great pride. Sri Krishna threw the horse demon many yards. Then, when Keshi attacked again, Krishna thrust his snake-like hand into the demon's mouth, choking Keshi and making his teeth fall out. As Krishna's arm expanded, the demon's body split apart. With a small particle of his pastimes, Sri Krishna killed the Keshi demon, whom the whole universe couldn't subdue. Krishna then rejoined the jubilant, affectionate, trembling cowherd boys. Enthralled by the beauty of Krishna's smile, Narada expertly offered prayers to him. Thus Krishna delighted Lord Shiva and all the other demigods. Sometime later, Sri Krishna sported with his playful friends on top of Govardhan Hill, some of the boys taking the part of lambs, some acting as shepherds, and some as thieves. The foolish demon Vyomasura disguised himself as a cowherd boy just to kidnap Krishna's friends. But when Krishna understood that Vyoma was abducting his friends, the Lord killed him. O mind, please worship Sri Krishna just once. His eyes are as beautiful as lotuses, and he is very merciful. He removes fear and ignorance from those who surrender to his splendid lotus feet. Yena rishtak prapito buddharishtam chakri keshi liyayai baba keshi vyomalambi vyomasamyam sakashtad goshtadisa sushtagopayatanno. Sri Krishna killed Arishtasura, easily frustrated Keshi's plans, and annihilated Vyomasura. May Sri Krishna, the king of Braja, protect us from distress. Abhavagasa kaspahoda vallistalakur lankasha vichirambu jaksha tabakeli sudanadi madiyam shishadangi galajangalam gatastu. O lotus-eyed Krishna, with its waves the nectar river of your pastimes erodes the dry banks where the large creepers of the desire for the happiness of liberation grow. May that cooling nectar river flow into my desert-like throat. Purushottamasya bodhito gokula charitamriki nikutaseka Brema marandasyam dhanota mama chittamakanda. Purushottamasya bodhito gokula charitamriki nikutaseka Brema marandasyam dhanota mama chittamakanda. May the mango tree of my mind be sprinkled on all sides with the nectar of Krishna's Gokula pastimes. May that mango tree then expand flowers from which the nectar of pure love of God drips. Kriya Bhakkalyanam Bhujisamadasati Yakanika Vikaseno Dhuyo Pakatapalamalla Patipata Bhajan Svadi Range Madakalamgendrasya Lalitam Kacha Krishta Krida Matata Maturari Maduripu. May Sri Krishna, the enemy of the Madhu demon, bring you all good fortune. With a small particle of his prowess, he destroyed many powerful opponents in the wrestling match. He boldly enjoyed the pastimes of a furious lion in the wrestling arena as he dragged the dead king Kamsa by the hair. Yakpodalokada vindavali hiridam vichato tungarangastali kedalapita koshe shobola samnuta dava batashishalokutsuvaspute Utpulalavan Kalolani Sinduradi Juradi Nadinavali Bandarakshina Kandira Vakunta Vikranta Rugdum Amaro the Dandindamashanti Yanni Mitotanga Matanga Nivana Muvi Mahananda Vindaniko Vanam Basidana Sabindo Mivamana Namam Santoshani Manakarmanam Unnalitastoka Vistarataran Mundastamastoma Vidvansikaran Malokyamas Binnani Marmana Muggejanashena Rundama Shermanam Uddanna Dordanna Darpana Vidhena Visma Petamana Ganda Vasidhena Pinam Sapindola Sadnanda Zandena Vindo Digamam Sanvita Gandhina Deeptindana Lavali Rajadangena Lamda Palambadi Gopala Sangena Malavali Ena Ranga Paveshin Vikshobeta Munchavidin the Veshina Nandasmita Rabda Kundala Nindaya Vindarakanandi Padara Vindaya Chanchana Kashreni Bachakavalaya Vakshastati Lakshanakshatamalaya Bulliba Vachali Chapapasapaya Nivahita Puvakanda Badapaya Nayamuho Jistamara Yacharya Yasmai Swaham Chakarabhidavaya Yasmai Swaham Chakarabhidavaya.
O Krishna, you are the sun who caused the lotuses of Mathura's residence to blossom, and you sported in the wrestling arena in that city. Splendidly effulgent in your yellow garments, you delighted all the people of Mathura. O Krishna, you are an ocean full of waves of beauty, and a friend to the wretched souls suffering agonizing mental distress. O powerful Lord, the sharp, loud sound you made in your throat resembled a lion's roar. You tirelessly fought and killed the terrible elephant Kuvalyapida. After you had liberated the gigantic elephant, thus greatly pleasing the earth, you appeared decorated with an armor consisting of drops of your perspiration and drops of the elephant's blood. You pleased your surrendered devotees with your pastimes. The people of Mathura looked longingly at you, who are effulgent and very youthful, and who with your mercy destroy the unfathomable ignorance of all souls. When the residents saw you kill the inimical Kuvalyapida along with its driver, they rejoiced unlimitedly. O Krishna, as you entered Kamsa's arena, the sight of your powerful arms wounded the pride of the wrestlers, and you amazed the effulgent Gandharvas and Siddhas with your beauty. You carried the elephant's tusk on your broad, round shoulders, and your cheeks were covered with glistening drops of perspiration. As you entered the wrestling arena with the cowherd boys and Lord Balaram, your effulgent limbs resembled a series of splendid sapphires, and you appeared like the king of heroes. The wrestlers at once feared you. O Krishna, your gentle smile rebuked a multitude of kunda flowers. Your lotus feet charmed the demigods. Your fingernails appeared like moving circles of splendor, and your chest was adorned with a beautiful necklace of pearls. You made the two bows of your expanded eyebrows dance, and you inspired the gopis with the pride of amorous love. You were the prince of the cowherd men. As the women of Mathura fixed their gaze upon your graceful movements, they longed to be with you at every moment. Overjoyed to sport in Kamsa's arena, you removed the great distress of your surrendered devotees, delighted Indra and the other demigods, and encouraged the members of the Vrishni and Andaka dynasties with your playful glances. You broke the pious gopis' staunch vow of chastity and destroyed the joy of the wrestlers' wives, though they had been very calm, confident of their husbands' prowess. Leaping in the arena, you frightened and greatly agitated King Kamsa. O Krishna, O charming young boy, you fiercely fought the wrestler Chanura and frightened Kamsa and the other demons with your arrogance. You pained the pride of the formidable demon Kamsa as your fathers, Nanda and Vasudev, looked on. The blossoming flowers of your feet leapt in the arena as your beautiful curling hair swung on your forehead. Like a stake, you struck the heart of Kamsa with fear. O Krishna, your holy name appeared on the lips of all the great sages. With a garland swinging on your broad chest, you resembled the abode of newly formed effulgent rain clouds, and your strength leapt over that of all the other heroes in the arena. The splendor of your moving lotus feet conquered Cupid and extinguished his arrogance, born from his great beauty.
The thousands of members of the Bhoja and Dashaha dynasties, seated in nicely constructed galleries by the order of Kamsa, were struck with wonder and devotedly offered you respects. O lion-like Krishna, you killed the elephant-like Chanura and all the other leading wrestlers. O Krishna, O Lord of the Gopis, please protect me. Lord Baladev then struck Mushtika on the left side, making him reel about and die. O Krishna, you are bedecked with many splendid ornaments. Dressed like a cowherd boy, you carry a flute and a buffalo horn bugle. The other powerful demon wrestlers fled from the arena in fear of you as you fearlessly danced, jumping with your lotus feet. You enchanted the pious girls of Mathura with your ineffable beauty, and with their eyes they drank in the fragrant Madhurika nectar of your form. O garland-bedecked Krishna, you are the only drinking vessel for the gopis' eyes, for your limbs possess all the graceful features of conjugal love, and indeed you emanate an unlimited, inexpressible sweetness. You killed and liberated Kamsa, the king of the Bhojas. O Krishna, O Lord, as your jingling ankle bells proclaimed your glories in all directions, you released Devaki and Vasudev from their suffering due to imprisonment. Still anointed with Kubja's sandalwood unguent, you offered Kamsa's flourishing kingdom of 7 provinces to the devoted King Ugrasen. O Krishna, please protect me. Mulla mullang range gad vich ladasi yena mancha papanche keshe Krishna kanso vigdita mukutam bagna hetu na jagne sattam satvade rajas pududu karuna dambaralam vicheta bhata dukkabdi patad yadkula kamalo dandachanda dutima. O Krishna, you chased the wrestlers from the arena, made Kamsa, who was seated on a high dais, drop his sword, threw Kamsa's crown far away, dragged him by the hair, and killed that tormentor of so many innocent people. O Krishna, O Lord of all souls, you wear wonderfully effulgent lotus-like silken garments, and you are very merciful at heart. Please protect me from falling into the ocean of distress. Manasa japani jushte labna batosmi dushte dimana gahana rupe handa sansara kupe ajata nikala raksha heta mudhara daksham upanayama mahaste bhakti rajun namaste. O Krishna, I have fallen into the contaminated, dark, unfathomable well of material existence, where the serpent of sex desire dwells. O unconquerable Krishna, the rope of devotional service to you bestows protection upon all souls and is expert at delivering them from illusion, birth and death. O Lord, I bow down to you and beg you to please place that rope in my hand. Samasta padashattatak vitatataj bhaktim vedan vadan apanayan vajit chadakripata hetu vibhor prasida yamunatate latata mutadam yataye kripam kripananatahe kudamukunda mande mahi. O Krishna, although one may know that devotional service to you is the highest goal of everyone, and although one may describe it in that way, no one can serve you without your mercy, for you are the cause of all success in devotional service. O Krishna, O all-powerful Lord, please be merciful to me. Rolling about on the bank of the Yamuna river, I appeal to you, O Mukunda, O Lord of the poor, please be merciful to this fool. Thus ends the summary of Sri Krishna's Vrindavan Lila by Srila Rupa Goswami. What follows is a selection of songs from the Stavamala by Srila Rupa Goswami. Translations by Sriman Krsna Lila Das.
Abhinava Kudmala Gutchasa Mundula Kunchada Kuntala Bara Ponihijane Vandana Sahakata Chuna Davadagana Sara Abhinava Kudmala Gutchasa Mundula Kunchada Kundala Bara Ponihijane Vandana Sahakata Chuna Davadagana Sara Jaya Sundarananda Kumara Sodava Sangada Vindavana Vihitava Sandavahara Adadavaraja Mandata Smita Lochita Ninapadevara Tatadaganta Vachadava Sochala Radha Madanavakara Adadavaraja Mandata Smita Lochita Nijapadevara Tatadaganta Vachadava Sochala Radha Madanavakara Jaya Sundana Nandukumara Sodava Sangada Vindavana Vihitava Sandavahara Bhuvanava Mohana Mandala Natana Kativalgita Manihara Najavalla Bhajana Surada Sanatana Chitta Bhavadavatara Bhuvanava Mohana Mandala Natana Kativalgita Manihara Najavalla Bhajana Surada Sanatana Chitta Bhavadavatara Jaya Sundara Nandukumara Sodava Sangada Vindavana Vihitava Sandavahara Jaya Sundara Nandukumara Sodava Sangada Vindavana Vihitava Sandavahara Sodava Sangada Vindavana Vihitava Sandavahara Sodava Sangada Vindavana Vihitava Sandavahara. O little son of Nanda Maharaj, your effulgent locks of curling hair are decorated with bunches of newly blossomed flowers. Your affectionate relatives have thrown reddish powders mixed with excellent crushed camphor on your body. O little son of Nanda, all glories to you, all glories to you. You perform your springtime pastimes in the aromatic land of Vrindavan. O little son of Nanda, the gopis observe the very gentle smile on your splendid lips. Your moving sidelong glances arouse the sentiments of Cupid within Srimati Radharani, who is agitated with love for you. O little son of Nanda, all glories to you, all glories to you. You perform your springtime pastimes in the aromatic land of Vrindavan. O little son of Nanda, your graceful dancing enchants the universe and causes your necklace of jewels to move about. You are affectionate towards your dear devotees, and your various incarnations perform pastimes within the mind of Sanatana Goswami. O little son of Nanda, all glories to you, all glories to you. You perform your springtime pastimes in the aromatic land of Vrindavan. Sodava sevata pushpavanimata nirmalavanamala padimandata mandata dasmita kantika dambita vadanambujanava vidvama pandita. Sodava sevata pushpavanimata nirmalavanamala padimandata mandata dasmita kantika dambita vadanambujanava vidvama pandita. Jaya Jaya Madakata Kandala Sundara Vadachami Kadapitam Vadadada Vrindavana Jana Vrindaparandana. Jaya Jaya Madakata Kandala Sundara Vadachami Kadapitam Vadadada Vrindavana Jana Vrindaparandana. Vadagunja Palaraja Varunjala Kekashakanda Kashekada Manjala Gunavagatula Goba Vadukula Chitta Shadi Mukha Pushpita Vanjala. Vanagunja Palaraja Varunjala Kekashakanda Kashekada Manjala Gunavagatula Goba Vadukula Chitta Shali Mukha Pushpita Vanjala. Jaya Jaya Matakata Kandala Sundara Vadachami Kadapitam Vadadara Vrindavana Jana Vrindaparandana. Jaya Jaya Matakata Kandala Sundara Vadachami Kadapitam Vadadara Vrindavana Jana Vrindaparandana. Kadamulali Kunapuda Vitakshana Pasupala Tipa Vidyanandana Gidijasanatana Sanadakanandana Nada de Kamalasana Kutavandana. Kodamurali Kanapura Vitakshana Pashapala Tipavidyanandana Girishasanatana Sanam Sakanandana Narada Kamalasana Kutavandana Jaya Jaya Matakata Kandala Sundara Varachami Katapita Madada Vindavana Jana Vindaparandara Jaya Jaya Matakata Kandala Sundara Varachami Katapita Madada Vindavana Jana Vindaparandara Vindavana Jana Vindaparandara Vindavana Jana Vindaparandara Vindavana Jana Vindaparandara. O Krishna, you are decorated with a garland of unblemished, fragrant forest flowers. Your lotus face appears effulgent with a very mild smile, and you are a learned scholar in the matter of performing ever-new pastimes. O Krishna, all glories to you, all glories to you. Your complexion is as dark and beautiful as an emerald or a newly sprouted blade of grass, and you are dressed in excellent golden garments. You are the monarch of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. O Krishna, you are decorated with garlands of gunja, and your beautiful hair is decorated with a splendid peacock feather. You are the blossoming Ashoka tree whose flowers attract the bumblebees that are the minds of the wives of the cowherd men. Those wives are full of unparalleled transcendental qualities. O Krishna, all glories to you, all glories to you. Your complexion is as dark and beautiful as an emerald or a newly sprouted blade of grass, and you are dressed in excellent golden garments. You are the monarch of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. O Krishna, you expertly play the flute held in your hand, and you delight the heart of Nanda Maharaj, the king of the cowherd men. Lord Shiva, Sanatan Kumara, Sanatan Goswami, Sanaka Kumara, Sanandana Kumara, Narada Rishi, and Lord Brahma offer obeisance to you and glorify and worship you. O Krishna, all glories to you, all glories to you. Your complexion is as dark and beautiful as an emerald or a newly sprouted blade of grass, and you are dressed in excellent golden garments. You are the monarch of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Yadapi samadashu vidadapi pashyati namakaragamaricam nirimiccam inashamyata vachita tadapi kripabhuta vicham. Yadapi samadashu vidadapi pashyati namakaragamaricam nirimiccam inashamyata vachita tadapi kripabhuta vicham. Deva bhavandam vande Manmana Samadukadama Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande Deva Bhavandam Vande Manmana Samadukadama Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande Bhaktiradantidiyandi Madhavanattai Mamantila Matri Padameshwarata Tadabitavadika Dugada Gananavadatri Bhaktiradantidiyandi Madhavanattai Mamantila Matri Padameshwarata Tadabitavadika Dugada Gananavadatri Deva Bhavandam Vande Manmana Samadukadama Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande Deva Bhavandam Vande Manmana Samadukadama Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande I am a melodati Yadisanatana Kaladad Buddha Dasabaram Nivasati Nitya Mahamati Nindani Vindan Modadimasaram I am a melodati Yadisanatana Kaladad Buddha Dasabaram Nivasati Nitya Mahamati Nindani Vindan Modadimasaram Deva Bhavandam Vande Manasa Madhukadana Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande Deva Bhavandam Vande Manasa Madhukadana Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande Manasa Madhukadana Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande Manasa Madhukadana Payinija Padapam Kachamakarande. O Achyuta,
although even Lord Brahma cannot see the splendor of the tips of your toenails in his meditative trances, when I hear of the amazing ocean of your mercy, I desire to see that splendor. O Lord, I offer respectful obeisances to you. Please place the bumblebee of my mind in the honey of your lotus feet. O Madhava, although I do not have even a little devotion to you, because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you can grant me that devotion, which is otherwise very difficult to attain. O Lord, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. Please place the bumblebee of my mind in the honey of your lotus feet. O Eternal Lord, may the bumblebee of my mind always dwell in the honey of your lotus feet without ever straying from that honey. That bee finds the greatest, most wonderful sweetness in that honey, which chastises the taste of nectar. O Lord, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. Please place the bumblebee of my mind in the honey of your lotus feet.